Hey guys, I'm back with another GoPro tips and tricks video. In this video, I'm going to be unboxing the RAM Rail ATV UTV mount GoPro camera, or the RAM B149Z-2-Go P1. Quite the long, uncreative name there. What this mount is a RAM-made handlebar, roll bar mount, and it'll basically allow you to mount your GoPro camera using the RAM socket arm system onto just about any round thing, and it has an incredibly large range of sizes that it can be mounted onto. Go ahead and pop the seal here. And what becomes immediately apparent, as with all RAM systems, is, well, they're incredibly secure. They have a lot of little parts, and they can be a little bit confusing the first couple times you're using them. So the first thing we get is this little plastic piece, and we'll explain each one of these in individually here as we go through them. So this piece, combined with this ball system here, allows you to use the provided hose clamp and rubber piece to mount onto very large diameter things, such as, like, I think it's up to about 4 inches in diameter. So this would be compatible with the roll bar mount, but again, because it's using this heavy duty metal hose clamp and the cast aluminum pieces here, it's going to be very, very sturdy. And then the other option this comes with, just using this this piece here and combining it with the two different sizes of U-bolt mounts, we can make this into a little tiny U-bolt mount if we're mounting onto smaller diameter things. And then if you even want to go smaller, they provided this little spacer that fits into the bottom of the smallest U-bolt mount they provide, and then you can take this and put this in here and connect it to some very, very tiny little mount. So a huge flexibility of different mounting options in this one kit, all to do with rails and round bars. The other things that are provided are the socket arm. So this is a medium length socket arm. These just snap onto the RAM balls, just like that. And then a GoPro ball is also provided, which snaps on the top and then can get twisted down. RAM has provided their own hardware for mounting your GoPro camera. You can see that in these two little pieces here. It's a small nut and a small bolt. They are actually smaller than the standard GoPro nuts and bolts, which means there'll be a little bit more play in the mount. My recommendation is to swap these out for some extra GoPro nuts and bolts that you've got around. If you don't have them around, then these will work okay, but I prefer to use the GoPro ones because they have that thumb screw, which is a lot nicer to undo than having to use a screwdriver every time you want to change your mount. Also in the box are two bolts. These are to be used to bolt this mount here onto the plate when you want to use the hose clamp. And those are the two bolts, or those are the two nuts to do that. They've also provided these little rubber caps, which are designed to fit onto the ends of their bolts, and this allows you to protect whatever you're mounting near, or clothing that might run over this mount, so that it doesn't get caught on the end of the bolts and potentially ripped. So I figured, guys, we'd start off by exploring how we can use the mount they provided to use the hose clamp mount. I think maybe first we'll go through the setup of this one, and then after that we'll go through the setup of these U-bolt mounts. With these, what you're going to need to do is to take the two provided bolts, slide them through the holes in the mount, and then do the same with the other one. Then flip the mount over, and on the bottom here you can take the two nuts that they provided and slide them on, and just give a quick turn of the bolt. And immediately what's going to happen is the bolt is going to slide into the provided notches inside the mount, which allow the bolt or the nut to not spin, meaning we don't even need a wrench in order to do this mount up. Then all we have to do is grab our screwdriver and tighten these bolts up. Just like that, our ball mount is mounted to the base plate, and we can then go ahead and get out the hose clamp. This hose clamp has this provided rubber piece which can slide onto it. The really cool thing with this rubber piece is that it'll actually work on any hose clamp that you get. So if this hose clamp becomes too big or too small for what you're trying to do, you can transfer the rubber piece onto any hose clamp you get at the hardware store. So then as soon as we're done with this, we've got that rubber piece on there, we can grab our mount, slide our hose clamp through the mount, just like this. And then you can decide whereabouts you want the connector or the screw piece of the hose clamp to be. In my case, I'm thinking I'm going to leave it right about there. And then you can grab something to mount your mount onto. Now, this would be whatever you're mounting onto, but in my case, for this demonstration, I happen to have my GoPro egg timer handy. So I'm going to grab that, slide the hose clamp together, and then just get out our screwdriver and tighten down the mount. And just like that, I've got my GoPro RAM ATV UTV mount attached to my GoPro egg timer. And this was just for the purpose of the demonstration, but you can imagine this could be any kind of large round tube or bar or handlebar or roll bar in your car or something like that. Then it's a simple matter to grab the socket arm that came with the kit, snap that on there, attach the GoPro piece, just grab our GoPro and associated nut and bolt, tuck these into the mount. And just like that, we've used the hose clamp version of this RAM mount to mount onto a round thing. One of the places that I'm thinking about using this is perhaps mounting onto roof racks of a car. That would be kind of a cool shot, and I think using something like this would make me feel more comfortable than using the GoPro handlebar mount, just because of the sheer strength of a mount like this. So now, guys, let's go through how we would use the U-bolt mounts with just this base plate to mount our camera. So to do this, we're going to need the two nuts that we used before, as well as the corresponding U-bolt that will fit our pipe size. So in this case, this is about a 1/2 inch pipe, but it'll work up to a lot bigger than this. So if we take the small one here, I think we'll find that will fit just fine. And then our question becomes, do we need to use the little spacer that they provided to make this even more secure? And I think, as long as it'll fit, that we probably would like to use that. So we put that spacer in the bottom there. We take this plate and we place the plate on top. Then we grab our two nuts, put them on the top of the mount, hand tighten them for now, and then the second one. And then we can grab our wrench. Hopefully you guys have a wrench that actually fits. In my case right now, I have to use a crescent wrench, which is not ideal. And just start tightening down each side of this. You're going to want to start slow. You're going to want to do one side snug and then do the other side, and you make sure you keep the U-bolt level. Don't tighten one side a lot more than the other. So as soon as we're done, we'll have our mount really securely attached to whatever we mounted onto. In this case, this was a 1/2 inch piece of PVC pipe, but it could be a handlebar or anything like that. If you wanted to make this mount, if you wanted to reduce the ability for this mount to scratch whatever you mounted onto, placing a small piece of inner tube underneath this mount or a small piece of rubber would make it less likely to spin if you're having problems with that, and it would also make it impossible for this mount to scratch whatever was underneath it. If your bolts stick out of the nuts at all, or if they do, you can take these rubber caps and place them on top. In my case, they don't actually stick out enough for it to function, but if it stuck out more, we could take these rubber caps and stick them on top, and that would prevent these from cutting anything that came across them or scratching it. From this point, it's a simple measure to mount our GoPro. We just need to grab our socket arm. This is again the medium length socket arm. Snap it on, and then with our GoPro attached to the ball, we can just snap it in there and screw it on tight. And just like that, we've mounted our GoPro using the U-bolt method, using the RAM UTV ATV mount. Again, like I said before, guys, I think this is a bit more of a secure option than some of the GoPro U-bolt or the GoPro handlebar or roll bar mounts, and also a little bit more versatile in the different sizes it can be mounted onto. I think this mount has a lot of flexibility because it has this thing that can accept U-bolts. If you wanted to go to the hardware store and find some really long U-bolts to work with it, you could totally do that. That's a total option. If you want to go out and buy some massive hose clamps to use with this part of it, you could do that too. So lots of flexibility here. Customize it how you want, but it does add another piece of kind of creativity to your GoPro mounts. So thank you guys for watching another GoPro tips and tricks video. If you've enjoyed it, please make sure you subscribe and check out my channel for lots more videos. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. I do read absolutely every one of those, so it really means a lot when you guys got something to say. And if you've liked the video, guys, like the video. But most of all, until next time, thank you for watching.